On September 1, 2021, StephenASmith, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe, and Max Kellerman were vying for the top spot in sports debate television. However, today only one remains, StephenASmith, and we will discuss how he forced all his competitors out the game to sit at the top alone. StephenASmith, the last debater talking.
The rise of the hot take era.
Before we announce the NBA Rookie of the Year, got to drop some knowledge. Vince Carter's late season 360 dunk was not really a 360. Let me show you. Most guys do a true 360. They start to their right, completing the circle, slamming it. Vince basically did like a 450. He started the other way, went all the way around before ripping the rim. Now, that's not why he's the Rookie of the Year.
Again, the organizations that have the resources, the Yankees, the Braves, the Cowboys, the Lakers, and the NBA, will almost always field contending teams. But the days of continuity may be ending. Even on the best teams, there's now so much turnover that it's becoming ever harder to follow and identify with teams. Loyalty has been fragmented, which brings us to an underappreciated aspect of this golden era in the NBA. It hasn't just been Bird, Magic, and Michael. It was the whole recognizable cast of characters around them that gave the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Bulls their texture and made following them all the more interesting. Even the Jazz.
As advertised, the commissioner, David Stern, do you feel like you lost a best friend today?
No. I feel like something very good happened to a good friend.
But you look at what it means to the league. Can you separate yourself as commissioner and become fan or friend and say, I'm happy for Michael?
Yes, absolutely. I think that...
Before social media, before the 24-hour news cycle demanded constant outrage, sports debate wasn't about who yelled the loudest, it was about who knew the most. Analysts like Bob Costas and Stuart Scott built careers on insight, not incendiary sound bites. But as the internet exploded, so did the audience's appetite for something different, something louder.
Show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett. Good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing. In that game, how many sacks did I have that we came back and won?
How many sacks did you have?
How many sacks?
Well, see, but this was back in 1989.
Okay, that was about
you may have even been Jim Everett back there, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or a 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of you before.
Well, it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
Because you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problems then.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
The team, and this was reaffirmed to me by a Jets official.
That what?
A few minutes ago, and from my understanding also,
go ahead.
Mike, listen,
I'm listening.
Mike, I'm in a
what you guys are saying, it's not true what they're saying to you. You're telling me they're trying to tell you that the union can tell them who to play?
Absolutely.
No way! No, that's ridiculous.
Mike, listen, I am in agreement with...
That is, wait a second. You're telling me the union can tell them who to put on the field?
That is what the
That
Jets
is
are
ridiculous.
Saying. That is what the Jets are telling
That is that is utter nonsense.
Listen, I am...
Get me the player association on the phone there. I'll prove it right. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Since when can the union tell you who to put on the field?
Well, that is what the Jets are...
StephenASmith didn't just embrace the hot take, he weaponized it. While others hesitated, he charged forward, turning every debate into a performance. His voice wasn't just heard, it was felt. And as TV networks realized controversy meant ratings, the era of quiet analysts was over. The age of the hot take had arrived, and Stephen A. was ready.
I got you. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. No, you just admitted you want some weed. You called up the show while on some weed. I asked you if you were on something, and you said weed is legal. I'm assuming that means, Stephen A., I ain't breaking no laws, but I called your show. Ha! So guess what? Goodbye! Call me when you're a bit lucid and more clear. I don't mind weed smokers. You are perfectly fine to do it, as long as you ain't a professional athlete and it's costing you money and getting you suspended, or if you calling up on this show to the point where you slurred in your speech like you punch drunk because you high. So because you high, goodbye.
But to become king, he'd need the perfect rival, and ESPN had just the man to push him to the top.
The birth of a debate empire.
For whom the word fight has taken on brand new meaning.
Tommy Morrison has entered a time and place and space he's never been before.
Hello and welcome from World Headquarters. It's The Big Show, and alongside my tag team partner, Dan Patrick, I'm Keith Olbermann.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the rest of the National League is waiting for the Phils to fall from grace.
No way Scottie Pippen was a top 50 player.
What?
Michael Jordan made him.
Oh,
yes.
You're going too
Don't
far.
get me started.
You're going too far.
No.
You're going too far. A TV show for a dude that's played 69 minutes and only shot the ball 9 times?
Yeah. Well, wait a second. I think JR is going to have to pay Stephen A. Smith a whole lot of money to be part of that reality show.
So he's been on the floor for 69 minutes.
Yep.
He's only attempted 9 shots, has only made 3 as the starting shooting guard, and we're talking about him having a reality TV show? That's what he did. It's supposed to cost him $8.5 million? You are on drugs. That Mountain Dew
Never
is
used
spike.
a drug in my life.
That Diet Mountain Dew is spike. Something wrong with you. You don't make any sense. First of all, let's be clear.
In 2007, ESPN launched a show that would quietly redefine sports television. At first it was just another morning talk program, polite, predictable, forgettable. But behind the scenes, a revolution was brewing. Because when you combined one incendiary columnist from Philadelphia with a polarizing provocateur from Oklahoma, you didn't just get debate, you got war.
But that's what I'm saying.
Well,
so why you got to finish my sentence for me? I was saying that's what people were trying to say, but I was getting ready to do it myself. You understand? Give a brother
I
a
need to hold your feet to the fire.
Well, that's what
You
I'm
can't
trying to do.
sort of-
You even let me finish my thought. What's up with that?
Yeah,
What's up with that?
there's some waffle.
Listen.
You can't make it.
Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless weren't just opposites, they were perfect antagonists. Stephen A., the fiery, streetwise Philly voice who spoke for the players. Skip, the unshakable contrarian, armed with stats and defiance. Together they turned a first-take sip into must-see TV, not because of the analysis, but because every morning felt like a heavyweight fight.
I'm so touched by your conviction because I think you need to be convicted for making that pick. I think it's utterly ridiculous. You have no foundation for it whatsoever as far as I'm concerned. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum in this regard. Of course I'm going to keep talking. You certainly did. Now it's my turn. I will tell you. I will tell you.
Always.
You are absolutely fantastic, Skip Bayless. You elocuted yourself brilliantly. Congratulations. Now let's get back to reality. And then I know you have to sit up there and convince yourself that what you feel is what you really feel.
The formula was simple: take 2 unstoppable forces, pit them against each other daily, and let the fireworks fly. Audiences couldn't look away. Ratings soared. And suddenly every network wanted their own version of the Stephen A. and Skip magic. But there was just one problem: magic like this couldn't last forever.
Trouble in paradise.
Everybody knows ESPN fired me in 2009. We had a contract dispute. I thought that I deserved more than they offered. I was appalled at the offer they made me. I did not like it. I did not appreciate it. I felt disrespected. And I said no. Not realizing that they were going to say, F it, you can leave. And that they had all the leverage on the planet. Because the same person that saw the forest from the trees in newspaper got cocky and didn't pay attention to the landscape in television in 2008 going into 2009. So I'm here thinking, just making sure my phone's turned off. So I'm here thinking, fellas, man, they screaming my name. They know me everywhere. I'm on commercials. I'm on the side of buses. Please, shit. I'm the man. Of course you gonna pay me. Nah. I wasn't on the definitive show.
I wasn't appointment viewing. Remember, quite frankly, my show on ESPN2 from 2005, 2007 got canceled in 2007. Remember, I was on NBA Countdown, got pulled off from NBA Countdown in 2008. So all I had was radio, which was expendable, and SportsCenter appearances. You didn't have a definitive place where you knew to catch me. So what did they do under the old regime? They signed me to a contract in 2008. They give me $600,000 less than what I had turned down, okay? And less than what their initial offer was, right? Then on top of it all, they kept me off the air. All of a sudden, y'all didn't see me. You didn't hear me. What happened to Stephen A? Still under contract, still employed, showing up to a game in Atlanta for the playoffs with Miami and Atlanta. It's all in my book, Straight Shooter. Showing up to the game, and I'm writing for ESPN.com, and I wasn't allowed on SportsCenter. You talking about a brother that would be on the air and went from being on the air 250 to 300 days out of the year to being on the air 3 times. And so as a result, out of sight, out of mind. So when the additional contract came, or when the contract came down in 2009 that I was looking for, there was no contract. We've decided we're going to move in a different direction. And I had no recourse because they had spent the previous year, diluting my potency because I wasn't seen nor heard from by the audience. And ultimately, it stripped me of whatever potency I had. I had no leverage. And then on top of it all, let's call it what it is. I'm a brother. So what happens is that you get let go. Oh, there must be something wrong with him. He might not be somebody we want to mess with.
Head case.
We don't need to touch him. And I was toast. And that reality hit me. And it was the scariest shit that ever happened to me because I'm a new dad. I'm unemployed. You know, I had lost my job at the Philadelphia Inquirer at the time because I was beefing with new management because they didn't want me there any longer because I was doing so much work in New York for ESPN and I was never in Philly. And so everything came like a tsunami all at one time. And so when that experience happened, and ultimately I'm unemployed for 10.5 months living off my savings.
Before First Take would even take off, Stephen A was fired in 2009, nearly preventing the record-breaking show from even happening. Take note that it was Skip Bayless who extended an olive branch to him and asked him to start First Take together.
See, people don't realize
Did Skip pick you, Stephen A?
Skip picked me.
Okay.
Skip came to me in 2012 and said, I need you. I cannot do this without you. You're the only person that I trust to do this with me 5 days a week. Will you please do this for me? And the reason he had to ask me that way is because everyone knows I hate getting up early. I can't stand it. This is my one. I just can't stand it. I mean, when I think about getting up early, I think about rush hour traffic. I think about not being able to get breakfast because I'm rushing to get past rush hour traffic. I'm thinking about the hustle and bustle that you wake up. I cannot stand. I mean, pulling me up. You ever see somebody just get knocked the hell out? Yeah. And they need smelling salts and everything just to get up and you got to help them up. That's how I am in the morning. I just don't want to get out of bed. Now, once I'm up, I'm up. I can stay up until 2, 3 the next morning. Right. No nap, no anything. I've always been that way. But my God, I cannot stand getting up in the morning. So when Skip asked me, I looked at him like, really? Because I'm like, you know, I don't want to get up no damn morning. Come on, man. He's like, I need you. I need you to do this, and I'm telling you, we'll knock this out the park. And then after 3 years, you can do what you want to do, you know? And so I agreed to do it because I knew the kind of chemistry that Skip and I had because we didn't agree on anything. The only thing we agreed on is that we liked each other. We didn't agree on anything. We just everything was black and white. It was one or the other with us. And we knew that. And so we were number one within a month.
ESPN would reach number 1 in just a matter of weeks and dominate for the following 4 years until the single most important move in sports debate history would occur.
That we need to share with our First Take family. Skip will be leaving First Take when the NBA Finals conclude, and I hate to speak for Stephen A, but we have truly loved working with you. And Skip, on a personal note, I appreciate the way you've helped me grow in the host chair here, and I will truly miss you sitting to my left and making me laugh every morning.
Thank you, Molly. I would hug you, but I think you're tethered to the chair
I'm
there.
attached to the chair.
And I don't think Ernestine would love it if I hugged you. But I do want to thank the many people who responded via social media yesterday. Much love, even to the haters. But most of all, I want to thank this man sitting across from me for all he has done for me. And I'm going to shake his hand, and I'm going to tell him what I told him off the air last Friday. I love you, man. And that is from the bottom of my heart.
I love you back, bro. And it's a great opportunity for you. I know it. I know you deserve it. And I've often said this on many occasions, and I'll repeat it one last time. One of the greatest honors of my career was when you called and asked me to do this show. You know me, I ain't interested in getting up in the morning. I ain't interested in
that is a fact, and that includes this morning.
That's right.
Yeah.
I am not interested in getting up this early in the morning. It is not what I like to do. But you asked me to do it because you had a vision, and you saw what this show could be with the two of us. And you made it happen, and you will forever be synonymous with First Take, my man. I am happy for you. You know that. And I wish you nothing but the best. We're going to have a party for the next few weeks while we're doing this. But you know, we're friends for life, and I wish you the best.
In my view, you and I had the greatest times of my career sitting right here across from each other at this debate table. Now, you're stuck with me for maybe a couple more months here, and you're going to have to watch my Spurs win it all.
Right.
You realize that with me sitting across from you.
Right. You know.
But now I say, let's do what we do.
Yes, let's do it. Time for you guys to get.
Skip Bayless left First Take in 2016 for a $5 million Fox Sports deal, joining Undisputed for more creative control after failed ESPN contract talks. But what may have seemed like a sad or somber moment would actually be the catalyst to the sports debate wars that would put Stephen A. in position to be the last debater still talking.
The dawn of the sports debate wars.
I want Iguodala. That's right. And I know what that sounds like. And it's not fair to Steph because so much defensive attention is paid to him. And I'm not saying Steph's not a better shooter. He's a way better shooter. Iguodala's got ice water in his veins. Iguodala is that type of player. Let me give you some examples. I'll take some baseball examples. A-Rod was an MVP, hit 50 home runs, this and that. Ask any Yankees fan from, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Would you rather have bases loaded World Series, you need to run Luis Sojo, the middle infielder, up, or A-Rod? Hardcore Yankees fans will tell you Luis Sojo. Because when under pressure, there was something about that dude that was cool and something about A-Rod that wasn't.
With Skip gone to Fox, ESPN decided to pair Stephen A. with boxing prodigy Max Kellerman. Max, who had built up a big fan base working for HBO, was thus thrusted into the sports debate world. With Skip's move to Fox Sports, producers paired him with the charismatic former Super Bowl champion Shannon Sharpe. Shannon had previously worked on CBS from 2004 to 2014.
Shannon's on a roll. Let's hit him with the last question. What was the biggest press conference meltdown this year? Give a listen.
JB, what did you she is who she thought she was. And we let off the hook. We had a chance to get her fired, JB. We let off the hook. I'm sorry, JB.
The production was an instant hit, and the new show, Undisputed, suddenly became instant competition to Stephen A. and Max Kellerman on First Take. Thus the debate wars would begin.
Stephen's first sign of victory.
In the first 5 years that First Take went up head-to-head with Undisputed, First Take consistently dominated the ratings war against Undisputed. After Bayless's exit, First Take replaced him with Max Kellerman alongside StephenASmith, and despite an initial ratings dip, it maintained a significant lead. In 2016, Undisputed's debut drew 125,000 viewers, a 400% increase over FS1's prior time slot, but First Take on ESPN2 outperformed it by 320% with approximately 400,000 viewers. By 2017, First Take moved to ESPN, boosting its audience and posted its most viewed year, averaging 449,000 viewers compared to Undisputed's 131,000. This 3-to-1 margin persisted, with First Take drawing 400,000 to 500,000 daily viewers by 2019, while Undisputed averaged 150,000 to 180,000, and First Take's ratings dipped in 2021, for example, 398,000 versus Get Up's 408,000. It still outperformed Undisputed, which saw highs of 366,000 in 2019, but generally trailed. First Take's stronger brand, broader reach, and Smith's star power secured its dominance throughout this period.
The elimination of Max Kellerman.
With the success of the new First Take, many began to speculate and wonder, was it the addition of Max Kellerman, or had Stephen finally hit his stride? All this came to a head when Hall of Fame wide receiver Terrell Owens came on the show amidst the Colin Kaepernick saga.
So what he wanted was transparency, for people to see the full workout, to see the full Colin Kaepernick. Again, you mentioned obviously Max is going to get in here. And like I said, I'm in the streets. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. with what he's coming, with his commentary.
With all due respect, my brother.
I'm just saying, dog.
Wait a minute. Wait to finish.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to check you right now. You don't cross the line.
I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. You don't cross the line.
This comment may have hit Stephen on two fronts. One, that Max was really the top dog, and also that Max may have had a stronger connection than him to the black community. But regardless of the truth, Max had to be eliminated. On September 1st, 2021, Max made his last appearance on First Take.
It is a bittersweet day here on First Take, as it is Max's final show. Backhanded compliment to Ryan Hollins. First of all, just let me say...
Ryan's great, dude. Ryan's great.
That wasn't a compliment.
Ryan lasted 12 years in the league.
I cannot believe it has been 5 years. We have had so much fun on the show. Obviously, the pandemic. Max, honestly, I've had so much fun sitting next to you. All the travels, all the trips, getting stuck at airports, all that things. You're a class act, but most importantly, I've met a friend for life. And congratulations. I know you have new shows, and I'll let you announce that whenever you feel comfortable. But I'm really excited for you for your next chapter, and I'm still going to see him every day. So of course, I'm getting emotional, but it's not goodbye.
Molly, first of all, anyone who wants to know about Molly, salt of the earth. It's great to know you, and exactly, a friend forever and all that. And Molly made me feel so welcome right away on the show and gave me the lay of the land. And it's been a great 5 years. What I'm struck with, watching those clips of myself, I knew how articulate and smart I was, of course. How excellent
Always
on television.
Good looking.
But that's what I was struck with.
So handsome. So handsome through the years.
No one ever told me.
I know, right?
So handsome.
Our hair color changed through the years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You think a little bit? The last 5 years has not been kind to the hair color. But it's been a great 5 years. I got to tell you, the people who work on this show, and like you always hear this, if someone's at the end of a show, someone's leaving the show, behind the scenes, and there are too many people to mention. There really are. And just a bunch of good people, and getting up every morning and coming into work like, kids, you know why you want to work in this business? It beats working for a living. Yeah. We're stealing money here. Like, we get up and every day to argue about sports with our friends. You know what I'd be doing if I wasn't on the show? Arguing about sports with my friends. My friends are on TV, and everyone gets to see it, and I somehow get out of working for a living. So I will continue to get out of working for a living talking about sports, but no longer on
We've had so much fun. Yes, you're going to be on TV a lot, but somebody else wants to say something. Do we have Stephen A. here?
Yes, you do.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Let me say this. First of all, my apologies for not being there. Just so everybody knows, I have not been on the air over the last 2 weeks, because this big nose of mine, if you can believe it, I actually look uglier than I normally look, because I had surgery for my sleep apnea on my nose, and that is why nobody has seen. It's about damn time, right, Max? It's about damn time.
Did you tell them to shave a little off while they were at it, or they left it as it?
Hey, Max, are you ready for this? It's actually
I have sleep apnea, too. I need to fix something. Go ahead. Sorry, Stephen.
That's right. The nose is actually bigger and more swollen and all of that other stuff. That is why I couldn't be on the air. All I wanted to say was to call in and to thank my man Max for the 5 years. Originally, when we talked, it was supposed to be a 3-year run, and the next thing you know, it's a 5-year run, and we've been number one every single year, and you had an awful lot to do with that. I wanted to thank you for your contribution to the show. I wanted to call and wish you nothing but the best moving forward, because you're going to be doing big things like you've always been doing big things, and I just wanted to let you know, my man, I'm calling to wish you nothing but the best, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there to tell you face to face to thank you for everything that you did for the show over these last 5 years. That's
Thanks,
why I was
Stephen
calling.
A. Stephen A., I'm
Despite him praising Max for his contributions to First Take, Stephen was clearly the orchestrator
we
behind
had
the removal of Max.
a number
As
of
time went by,
conversations,
he would proceed to throw Max under the
one-on-one,
bus.
many times. I know this audience. I know what they're looking for. I know what they need, et cetera, et cetera. At some point, you're going to do what you need to do or you don't. And if you don't do what you need to do, I'm going to get somebody who will. That's me, and I made no qualms about it. Now, I didn't have the authority to let him go.
But you have coffee with the person that.
How about
You know
that?
what I mean?
How about that? And so what I did was I've been very honest and very consistent about it. There's nothing personal. We weren't enemies or anything. To be real, I didn't like working with him, man. It's just that damn simple. I didn't like it. I thought the show was stale. I thought that we had flatlined when it came to the public at large. And I'm trying to win. But you weren't an athlete and you weren't a journalist. And the absence of the two components left people wondering, why should we listen to you? Okay, well, you might have had that figured out on Sports Nation, or you might have had that figured out on another show. But on this show, if you looked at the content emanating in the social stratosphere, meaning YouTube and other components that you use to measure one's cachet, Q ratings, focus groups, all of these different things, it was like I was damn near doing the show by myself because we were oceans apart in terms of cachet. Well, how are you oceans apart from me if you sit right across from me? I've been very honest and very consistent about it. There's nothing personal. We weren't enemies or anything. To be real, we ain't spoke since. Other than high and by, or if I had to go on the show when they were doing the morning show, I would get interviewed. But there's been no conversation since, and that's fine with me. That's no problem, because it wasn't like we were boys or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it was all business to me, and it was about, look, man, I'm trying to win, and I don't believe I can win with you.
As fierce a competitor as Stephen A. is, one can understand that he did what he had to do, but was getting rid of Max a company move, or was it done to vanquish a rival?
Stephen A. felt threatened, point blank. There ain't no way around it. He got Max fired, put off the show. It's hard to say fired because Max got other opportunities, but as Stephen A. knows, those other opportunities were less. And those other opportunities were without favor. Stephen A. said this on the podcast, Joe Budden. Once Stephen A. ain't messing with you, it's going to be hard for other people to look at you the same or to rock with you. Stephen A. knew what he was doing. He gives the upstairs management an ultimatum that you can't work with him or me. Why? Because he's smart? Because he's smarter than you? Why? Because on black issues, T.O. says, and T.O.'s right, he sounds blacker than you. Why is T.O. right? Because you proved he was right. Not because he really sounded blacker than you, because you and your response. One, you took T.O.'s comments so seriously that you got out of character with T.O. Two, you got out of character with your partner. Three, you still talking about that, and it still gets to you because it got to you. But we want to hear the story you can tell exactly about why you really pushed Max out. It wasn't because of the ratings. You even said it. It's not even because of the ratings, dog. God, dog. Y'all were number one. It wasn't a ratings thing. Oh, well, it wasn't just creative. It was just, I'm resonating in a way that he's not. I thought the ultimate way to determine that were the ratings. And if it's not, why do you always tell everyone you're number one? If you're number one and that shows why you're the king and why your show is the best, then why is Max gone? Max is gone because Max didn't play his role. Max was gone because Max didn't want to get in where you wanted him to fit in.
The elimination of Skip Bayless.
And I'm trying to win. Look, man, I'm trying to win. And when you're winning, they always coming for you. Because unfortunately, particularly in this day and age, their definition of winning, the closest they can get to it, is knocking you off your perch instead of creating one for their own. I have never been, I am not, nor will I ever be at war with Skip Bayless. That will not happen. Trying to be number one is an entirely different agenda than trying to end somebody's career. I hope and pray that Skip Bayless is on TV doing what he loves to do and talking sports for as long as he wants to do it. Do I want to beat him? Yes. I want to beat anybody I'm going up against. That includes you, Dan. But you know what my success is? You know what I define as success? Being more successful than people who do what I do. If I'm less successful than them, I'm not winning. And if I'm not winning, that's not success.
The moment Skip Bayless left First Take was the moment that Skip became StephenASmith's #1 target. The relationship between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith represents one of the most fascinating dynamics in sports media history. What began as a mutually beneficial collaboration on ESPN's First Take transformed into a calculated campaign by Smith to position himself as the undisputed king of sports debate television. By leaving ESPN, Bayless essentially created his own competitor in Smith, who would remain at First Take and eventually transform it into the dominant sports debate show.
Serious debate, didn't want somebody who would make him look bad or worse than he does as the face of hater, critic, media member for all time, I think. I think Skip Bayless has pioneered that he is the greatest hater of this toxic age of judging the hell out of the athletes. Hey, LeBron, yeah, second place all time. You choker. He is the face of this.
Bayless's departure allowed Smith to take full ownership of the program. And when the hottest name in sports broadcasting became available, he used this opportunity to lay the final blow to Skip.
What do you mean that's my argument?
Your argument is that they're going to be in the playoffs. Is Tom Brady playing bad? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, he played poorly yesterday.
What do you mean yesterday?
Okay,
all year.
But you're giving him 100%
I
of the
did.
blame?
Because
that's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
Skip, what I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal...
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just...
Go ahead.
You disrespected me.
Welcome back to Undisputed, everybody. Must admit, I've been dreading the end of today's show, but here we are. Shannon, my friend, I know you have some things you'd like to say, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jen. I do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is officially my last day at work. After 7 years, the train stops for Shannon Sharpe and Undisputed right here. And over 7 years, I've made a lot of friends, and I'd like to take the time now to thank some of these people. First, I'd like to thank Fox and FS1 for giving me this opportunity, for believing in me, and allow me to share this stage with a young man that I've sat across from for 7 years. I want to thank you. I want to thank my original boss, Jamie Horowitz, who got on a plane, came down in Atlanta, and told me I could be a star. You can do this. You can sit across from Skip Bayless and do this. I see it in your eyes. I see the passion in which you talk. You can do this. Thank you. I want to thank the ladies in the makeup room.
Okay, this is not easy for me either. But
one more thing before you go, Skip. Okay. One more thing. All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, you know I gave you everything I had.
You did.
I gave you everything I had.
Which is what
I can tell you. When news was announced that Shannon Sharpe had been bought out of FS1 and he would be leaving at the conclusion of the NBA Finals, there were 2 things that came to my mind. That's a big loss for the show Undisputed because Shannon matters, and that I don't know what his plans are,
I don't know what he's trying to pursue. I don't know what he's after. But if Shannon Sharpe needs me, I'm happy to be here for him. And if that included him wanting to come on First Take, the bosses at ESPN know that is something I would support.
Let me get right into it, because I know that news has been percolating over the last few days that Shannon Sharpe is coming to First Take. I'm not going to tell you that's true. I'm not going to tell you it's not either. What I can tell you is that the honchos are talking to Shannon Sharpe. What I can tell you is that the honchos are fully aware that Stephen A. Smith wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Now, don't get it twisted. I want Ryan Clark, too, from the pivot. I want him pivoting his behind right to First Take several times a week because I love my brother. Swagoo, Marcus Spears, I want him on First Take. Dan Orlando in just a second. But make no mistake about it. I'm not apologizing to a damn show. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. And I aim to get him. We are definitely talking to Shannon Sharpe. The conversations are official. The reports have not been misnomers or misreports or anything like that. We are talking to him, and I'm hopeful, very hopeful, and very confident that ultimately we will be announcing sooner than later that he will be on First Take. Anything can happen now, because I don't make those decisions. I have bosses, executives like Dave Roberts and Burke Magnus and Jimmy Pitaro. They make the decision. Stephen A. is not the boss. Okay? Stuff have to come into play. Contractual agreements and all of this other stuff have to come into play. But damn it, Shannon, Club, Shay, and anything else, I don't give a damn if he brings a bottle of Hennessy with him. I want him on First Take. All of this politically correct stuff and being quiet. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Okay? Period.
Smith quickly filled the void left by Bayless at ESPN, transitioning from sidekick to main attraction. Stephen A's shameless campaigning and eventual acquisition of Shannon Sharpe tilted the balance of power in such great favor of Stephen A. and First Take that Undisputed could no longer stay afloat. Stephen A. finally did it. The student had finally conquered the master. Skip Bayless and Undisputed were no more.
I would think 2024 could be it for Skip Bayless, but I'm not sure if FS1 feels like it has a better option. And they're so all in it. So bad for Skip Bayless and Undisputed. I think Awful Announcing and my guy Mike McCarthy over at Front Office Sports have been writing about how bad Undisputed's been getting slaughtered in the ratings. I think in the 2, 3, 4 week stretch, First Take is getting 5 times the ratings as Undisputed.
Normal hijinks pay for everything. And also, hey, Stephen A., you don't have to be a company, man. You're a company, man. Like, you can come out and keep us company.
But
like
I think Stephen A. I think he thinks he could pull it off, both of them. He could stay at ESPN and still
He can.
Right.
He can. All of these walls. But why doesn't anybody care when? What I'm pointing out to you is Fox got into this business in the laziest way possible. They just said, hey, Bayless, hey, Cowherd, can you come over here and hot take? And they built everything they built. And then in that time, First Take contaminated everything. All of it went to garbage debate television. And in the doing of that, Stephen A. Smith kills the end of the guy's career who gave him the entire opportunity to work at ESPN.
The elimination of Shannon Sharpe.
When news was announced that Shannon Sharpe had been bought out of FS1 and he would be leaving at the conclusion of the NBA Finals, there were 2 things that came to my mind. That's a big loss for the show Undisputed, because Shannon matters, and that I don't know what his plans are. I don't know what he's trying to pursue. I don't know what he's after.
But if Shannon Sharpe needs me, I'm happy to be here for him. And if that included him wanting to come on First Take, the bosses at ESPN know that is something I would support. Not every day, but one of those days every week, yeah.
When Shannon Sharpe had departed Undisputed, he was the #1 sports broadcaster in America. He was on a major network 5 times a week and was must-see TV. But for some odd reason, before any discussion, Stephen A wanted him only for 1 or 2 days a week, a positioning that immediately put him on the level of a Ryan Clark or Kendrick Perkins or Amanda Martin.
I don't know what his plans are. I don't know what he's trying to pursue. I don't know what he's after. But if Shannon Sharpe needs me, I'm happy to be here for him. And if that included him wanting to come on First Take, the bosses at ESPN know that is something I would support. Not every day, but one of those days every week, yeah. And why do I say not every day? Because you need to understand something. I love me some Michael Irvin. I always want my brother with me. He ain't the only one. Keyshawn Johnson, that's my brother. We go back over 20 years, and I think he's excellent on TV discussing football. Ryan Clark, the pivot, Ryan Clark. The NFL analyst extraordinaire, Ryan Clark. Marcus Spears, a.k.a. Swagoo, my brothers.
Shannon deserved to have the white carpet rolled out for him. As the brightest star in the broadcast landscape, he was essentially prevented from fully shining on the world leader in sports. Instead, he was regulated to being just one of the sports guys by Stephen A., but still found a way through his Cat Williams interview to propel his name far ahead of Stephen A.
Friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Buzbee want $50 million.
Today's a different day because of where I have to get started and where I have to finish. There's only going to be one subject discussed today, and it's where we're getting started. It's involving some news that broke yesterday involving Shannon Sharpe, my colleague at ESPN and my friend. The Hall of Fame tight end was sued on Sunday by a woman proceeding under the name Jane Doe pseudonym. The 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada alleges that Sharpe committed, it's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN. Works on First Take, which airs on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. He's been with me every Monday and Tuesday. We've been #1 for 13 years and counting. But since Shannon has arrived, obviously he's helped the show immensely. And I can't thank him enough for it. We've grown close as friends. I'd like to believe that. I certainly root for him. I know he's been through a lot in life. He's overcome a lot of things. And when he departed from Fox, I was more than happy to bring him on board here. So all I can speak about is what I know,
based on the reports, and I can speak about ESPN and Disney. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach, because I owe them that courtesy. With that being said, it's important to point out a couple of things. Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about.
Context, because I'm paying lawyers out the ass. My lawyers don't get up and do some shit and be like, oh, by the way, this is what we did. No. Nigga, I'm paying y'all hundreds of thousands of dollars. They do what I want them to do. They ask me, do you want us to do this? Now, they give me their professional advice. But if I say no, they ain't doing it. So when I hear Stephen A. keep saying he doesn't like what Shannon's lawyers are doing, I have to say, Stephen A., stop being a fake nigga for 1 second of your life. You're criticizing Shannon in a way. Shannon Sharpe is paying his lawyers. They don't operate without his consent. They sit on calls like I sit on calls with my lawyer. If I tell my lawyer, could you draft me a statement? You know what they're going to say? We got this PR company. We'll get them a part of it, and we'll work with them to get you the statement, and you can tweet it out. That's how it works. They don't say we're just putting out a statement for you. It doesn't work like that. I'm inclined. I pay the money. I tell them what to do, and they give me expertise. That's how it goes. So when you criticize the lawyers or you criticize the move of the lawyers, you criticize the move of your mans. So I don't know why Stephen A. Smith keeps sitting here and playing dumb. You're criticizing. You're just trying to. And I'm telling you, Shannon probably. I guarantee Shannon stopped talking to this. I guarantee. I put money on it because this fake shit. You got no criticism for Shannon, but you're criticizing him through his lawyers. His lawyers work for him. They're going off his advice. So what you should say if you was a nigga, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what Shannon doing, but that would make you fake. In reality, I think Stephen A. should be like, yo, Shannon's my mans. I'm really caught in a really tough position because I work at ESPN. I'm cool with all the bosses. I'm kind of like a quasi-executive. I don't want to talk about this. I got a no comment on this until I find out more information. That's a real to do. Hit him with a no comment. Nobody say you got to back up freaky ass Shannon Sharpe, but no comment it, bruh. You put your 2 cents in and you criticizing his strategies. It kind of make you look like you doing the little rig around sucker move, bruh. Anyway.
And then you're looking at
This is my section.
what you know about Disney. See, that's where I come in.
Now, this is another problem with my man, Stephen A. Yo, Stephen A, it's very clear you're more of a company man than a friend. Bro, it don't take they don't like, are they paying? I know they're paying you a lot of money, but they're not paying you to specifically go talk about Shannon Sharpe, my nigga. Just don't comment it, bro. Let them go to ESPN PR to go get whatever statement from ESPN. Why if you talking about it, but you're not even backing your mans up? You're kind of low-key even saying, yo, this shit making me uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on with this shit. I hope it ain't true, but this shit kind of is weird. Bruh.
Stephen A didn't cause this problem for Shannon, but if there was ever an easier checkmate, this was it. There was no fight, no pushback, just an acknowledgement of Shannon's wrongdoings by Stephen. It was clear that Shannon would never find himself in tight with SPN again. So if having Shannon as just one of the guys had him in check, now for Shannon, it was game over.
So yesterday on the show, I said I think it's unlikely Shannon Sharpe works at ESPN again, and I thought all of what Shannon did was carefully staged in order to make it look like that was his decision, and he did ESPN a favor by making it look like all of that, because I don't think ESPN wanted to make any of that worse than it already was by firing him, suspending him, or even commenting on any of what's happening.
All right, so that is the end of the documentary. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you were able to see how Stephen A was able to maneuver himself and put himself in position to get to the top of sports debate TV. If somebody would have told you, 20 years ago, that he would have outlast Max Kellerman, Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless, you probably would have said no, because all three of these men are legends, are in their respective fields. And Shannon Sharpe is a legend in two fields. But Stephen A somehow, with a lot of luck, he was somehow able to do it. So you got to give him respect for that. Yeah. Right. How long he'll be able to stay at the top, who knows? Right. In this game, anybody can come up. Anybody can come out of left field and even topple Stephen A. Right. I am pretty sure that if Shannon Sharpe did not sign with ESPN, let's say if he would have signed with CBS again, or another network like ABC or somewhere had, taken a shot on him, I think that he probably would have taken over. Right? But I think it was crucial that he only got the 1 or 2 days on ESPN, because him being on Fox for 5 days, that was drawing a crowd. That was what helped him, to reach the highest level and make himself the hottest person on TV, once he left Skip. So Stephen A being able to keep him down like that, I think it was very crucial. Because if he was there every day, plus Nightcap, plus Club Shay Shay, at some point he would topple Stephen A. All right, so that's why I say Stephen A is very, very lucky. And now with this whole lawsuit and so on, I don't think that Shannon Sharpe will be able to make a comeback in that way. Because I'm not sure that TV network would take a chance on him in the way that that Fox did before. And in terms of anybody else, I don't really see anybody else right now. But who knows? So that's about it. Tune into our other shows. Until next time.